Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the front line. Pull up a chair, come on in the cabin. We got some things to talk about a little bit today, guys. It seems like, the more that I get into the prophets, is the more that I start realizing, these are very vital clues. We should not be confused by what we're seeing. These things should be validated by now. These are very, very important clues as to what to expect. What's coming, what's going to happen, guys. Last week we got into Isaiah, and I showed you guys. No, it was the week before, the righteous hope for a righteous man. But I think we touched it a little bit last week. We talked about how there was going to be a tenth left. And it sounds like men, guys. And it sounds like it's going to be linked to the Y death, very much like I said. But also in reviewing some of the passages that we're reviewing within the Torah, guys, there are even more clues, right? So I wanted to go back this week to Isaiah 3. And I want to talk about the men that will fall by the sword, right? Because within Isaiah 3, we get a really good description, and this is a very controversial passage, because there are many women that will have some issues with this passage, because it seems as if it's an indicator, and that what falls on these women is from the Creator. And I showed you guys last week. Well, maybe we didn't cover this, but when David loses his son, we find out that the Creator sent sickness onto the baby. Okay, guys? It tells us that in Torah. So I'm seeing a pattern where, and don't get me wrong, I want to say this as tenderly as possible, because I myself have loved ones that I've lost from disease. Okay? I'm seeing a pattern here as it pertains to disease and spirituality. One that they wanted us to be far removed from, guys. But we know that when the Creator made the bronze serpent, and people had to look upon it, it was to keep them from getting ill and things like that. So there's passages in the Torah that support this, guys. You just got to dig, and you got to read it. And I'm just seeing something here with health, guys. So, darn, I just forgot why we were talking about that. But anyway, guys, moving on. Oh, that's right. It's a very controversial passage, because it says specifically something to do with a smiting from the Creator, guys. So a lot of my mother's daughters are going to have a hard time with that passage, especially if you haven't gotten to a place where you're ready to put aside vanity and not really care. Care how you look, guys, but not to the point to where you need to assimilate and to do what everyone else is doing. And I just gotta say it, guys. We buying hair and stuff, guys. This has got to stop. That's that person's DNA. That's that person's. If it's their DNA, and we're linking DNA to spirituality, then come on, guys. We have to get to a place where we put aside vanity. And this passage right here, let's get back to the lesson at hand, guys. The reason why I'm saying all of this. This passage right here describes the women who are crying for the men who fell by the sword. But if we have a description of the women who are crying, then we know the men that they're crying over. And hopefully, if you're tuned in, you're not one of these. Okay, guys? You're not one of these women who are going to have to reconcile with the Creator. And you're not one of these men who will not find themselves amongst the tenth that is going to be left. Because this goes right along with that tenth, because you're going to see talk about a set-apart one, guys. So And it correlates with the other passages. So it's not going to be a particularly long study, guys, but it's going to be, I think, helpful to give us an idea of what we're going to see coming. Who are these women that are crying? What are they described as looking like? This is going to blow your minds, guys, because Isaiah wrote this many, many, many moons ago. So I assume, I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't say it was thousands of years ago. I don't buy that. But I think it was a few hundred years ago. And not even that many hundred. Okay, guys? Let's not forget, before I started doing the Torah studies, I was already doing some we're the place, we're the people, and this is the place research, right, guys? But now I see this war as so different than that, guys. I see this war as something has been hidden. Um, Eve was blamed. She should have never been blamed. That's my new stance, guys. There is no punishment for Eve. That didn't come out of the Creator's mouth. He didn't say, Eve, because you did this, you're going to have childbirth and pain, and he's going to rule over you. But prior to giving out any other declarations, he told, there was 3 people involved. He told the other 2, because you did this. He never says that to my mother Eve. Not one time. Our Creator never says that. I don't even want to say he or she because, like I told you, I believe there's a mother and father Creator. And I don't know which one said it, which one inquired, but I can tell you this much, that it is never said to Eve, because you did this. So we need to really reevaluate what really happened in the garden, guys. Because if I'm made in my mother's Creator and my mother didn't sin, hold up, stop the presses, guys. No wonder the Creator tells the husband to cleave to his wife and to not reject your mother's Torah. Guys, there has been something hidden, if you ask me. And it's going to have to reveal itself. Only when we have those 2 X's do we get the healing that we need. Okay, guys? And it sounds like the men need healing. I'm not sugarcoating this stuff. This stuff is right here in the Torah, guys. So, like I said, we don't have a lot of scripture that we're going to have to read, but I want you guys to notice what is being said in Isaiah 3. The description of these women is spot on with what we would call a modern woman, guys. It's all over Instagram. The description of these women is all over Instagram. And I'm going to close with a screenshot of something that I found that actually validates the scripture. So we're just going to go on a journey. I want to show you guys what's coming for these women, these, as Ruth Abbey would say, these harlot women. Because according to Ruth, there's 2 covenants out here. And I kind of agree with her on that. Not kind of, I agree with her on that wholeheartedly. There's the blood covenant for JC. And then there's the harlot covenant, guys. Okay? And I'm telling you something, I'm seeing this more and more, that there were women that actually were willing to bow down to this whole headship in the home that was executed by Xerxes. That was the king, guys. Xerxes was the one. Alright, guys, so Torah is not showing me that. The righteous men that the Creator pointed out that would come out of this is not showing me this headship. So the only persons I see pushing this headship is the patrimony, which is the supreme being, quote, according to them, which is Adam. It all leads back to Adam, guys. I've shown you all this. And Aesop and his sour grapes is linked to that term, which that term is actually linked to the proverb in our Torah, guys, according to Wikipedia. So we know Aesop's been around as long as our Torah. I'm telling you guys, Aesop is Adam. I feel confident in saying that. Alright, guys, especially if you read that story. You guys gotta read the sour grapes story. It's pretty, it sounds like somebody disgruntled. Like I've been telling you guys, he was majorly disgruntled. He was the firstborn. He is the designer of progeniture, which is the right to the firstborn, guys. Notice what the Creator kept doing. He kept giving everything to the secondborn. Well, who is the secondborn? Eve, guys. All right, guys. I mean, I can't beat this stuff over anybody's head and try to make it make sense. I'm just getting it, and it's making sense to me. And I'm hoping as time goes by, and I'm able to bring this stuff out, that it'll make sense to you guys too. Okay. All right. So I got a few scriptures here, and I want us to go to Isaiah 3 first, guys, because I'm telling you, this is a very controversial scripture, and a lot of people have trouble with this. I personally don't. I've gotten into a place where I'm not trying to impress the opposite sex. I'm comfortable in my skin, and I feel liberated, truthfully, to not be looking for that adoration. To not be looking or seeking, validation that I'm cute and all of these great things, because I'm not in that competition anymore, guys. I'm an easer. The Creator created me differently, and I accept this lonely walk, and I actually embrace it, guys. I'm here to help you guys out as best as I can. All right, guys. So let's go to let's open up this folder I got here. Who are the men fallen by the sword? Isaiah 3 and 25, right? But we're going to read all of Isaiah 3, and then I'm going to get you to 25. And then I'm going to read some of these other scriptures to bring you guys back to what Torah is saying, guys, okay? All right, and you'll notice in the background I got this thing about the sour grapes, right? That's for Adam and his sour grapes and what I call his Aesop. All right, let's go into Isaiah 3, guys. You know what? I really should have opened the Berean, because I like the Berean wording for the description of the ladies better. And when it comes to the description, I may go to the Berean and read it again, but I'm not going to read all of 3 in the Berean. All right, guys, come on. Isaiah 3, for behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread, and the whole stay of water, the mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet, and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50, and the honorable man, and the counselor, and the cunning artificer, and the eloquent orator. Cunning artificer. Those are people that deal with the artifacts and the people that talk, right, guys? I forgot to close this up.
Hello, Moto.
Okay. Actually, let me put on Do Not Disturb. Pay that number no mind. Okay. The captain of 50 and the honorable men, the counselor and the cunning artificer and the eloquent orator. And I will give children to be their princes. We're in verse 4, guys. And babes shall rule over them, and the people shall be oppressed, everyone by another, and everyone by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let this ruin be under thy hand. From the house of his father, guys, okay? That's that patriarchy stuff. Torah's telling us right here in verse 6, when a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let this ruin be under thy hand. They want to pass this on so that they don't have to be accountable themselves, but every man is accountable for themselves. We read that last week in Torah, guys. So let's keep going. Number 8, for Jerusalem is ruined, and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory. The show of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare the sin of Sodom. They hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Say ye to the righteous, that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, They which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the ways of thy path. See, the woman ruling over here is discussing that harlot covenant. The one that, anyway, you're just going to have to get into Ruth Abby, guys. I think she's done a really good job of pointing that out. All right, number 13. I don't want to steal anybody's work. Going over to Ruth Abby. You guys will start getting it. Number 13. The Lord standeth up to plead, and standeth to judge the people. The Lord will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people, and the princes thereof. For ye have eaten up the vineyard. The spoil of the poor is in your houses. What mean ye, that ye beat my people to pieces, and grind the faces of the poor, saith the Lord God of hosts? Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion, this is the controversial verses right here, guys. And this is the verse that I'm actually going to read from the Berean for you guys to get the full impact. But we're going to read it here, and I'm going to go all the way through, and then I'll come back to it, okay? But this is the controversial verse right here, and you guys will see why. And it goes on for a little while, okay? All right. Number 16. Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and menacing as they go, making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. In that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their calls, and their round tires like the moon. I wonder what round tires like the moon these are. Are these implants, guys? What round tires like the moon is he going to take away? Guys, I'm telling you, I'm seeing past these words. It's a round-shaped item. It's got the round tires like the moon, guys. This to me strikes me as either these butt implants or these breast implants, but we're going to keep going. Number 19, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers. Listen to number 20, guys. The bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins, the glasses, and the fine linen, and the hoods, and the veils. The veils, guys, okay? That's your makeup, okay, and all this crap, but let's keep going. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle, a rent. Instead of well-set hair, baldness. And instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. It's not saying these women are going to be wiped out. They're going to be mourning. They're going to be mourning these men. Their men, it says, thy men, right here in number 25, thy men shall fall by the sword. So the women described above, these women, we're going to go to the Berean. They're crying over these men. So if we know what these women look like, then we know the men that they're crying over, don't we? I believe we do, guys. I want to read this from the Berean real quick to you guys. If you want, you can open this up and specifically look for the Berean. But I'm going to start back at number 16. And I want you guys to listen to how it sounds in the Berean too. All right, it says, and the Creator says, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with outstretched necks and seductive eyes, walking and mincing as they go, making a jingling with their feet. Therefore the Creator shall smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion and expose their nakedness. In that day, and I kind of take this too as the crown of the head. It could be literal. And what is the crown over the head of the woman? It's usually the man, guys. So this could go either way for me. I'm standing back to wait and see. Is this a literal scab on their head, or is this the men that have been oppressing them and I don't know, that they're living this lifestyle with? Because come on, guys, we're seeing this right now. So let me keep reading. In that day, the Creator takes away the finery of the anklets and the headbands and the crescents, the pendants, the bracelets and the veils, the headdresses and the leg ornaments and the sashes and the perfume bottles and the amulets, the rings and the nose jewels, the costly robes and the cloaks and the shawls and the purses, the mirrors and the fine linen and the turbans and the large veils. He's taking away the mirrors, guys. Goodbye vanity, guys. Goodbye worrying about what you look like for the other sex, because it's not going to matter. They're going to be wiped out. There's only going to be a tenth left, so who are you impressing? And it shall be, instead of a sweet fragrance, a smell of decay, and instead of a belt, a rope, and instead of well-set hair, baldness, instead of a festal robe, a girding of sackcloth, and branding instead of loveliness. Your men shall fall by the sword, and your strength in battle. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she, deserted, shall sit on the ground. That's that wide death that's going to wipe your men out. Yeah, ladies, if you look like this, and if you're walking around doing all of this stuff here, it says with seductive eyes. Guys, you want to see what seductive eyes look like? Let me show you in this day and age. On Instagram. Fair use for the purposes of education and criticism. Look at this character right here. It says the Muppet Show predicted what most women would look like in 2022 back in 1975. You know who predicted what most women would look like hundreds of years ago? Right here, my man Isaiah. Said right here they're going to be walking around with wanton eyes. And in the Berean it says seductive eyes. Look at this foolishness. Isaiah predicted it, guys. He said it right here. There is a description of the ladies, guys. There's a description right here of the ladies that will be doing this. Okay, guys, let's go back to Isaiah 5 and 14 for a second, guys. All right. Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory and their multitude and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. And the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humbled, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. These are the people falling by the sword. And the ladies crying for him look like that Muppet. But the Lord of hosts shall be exalted in judgment, and God that is holy shall be sanctified in righteousness. Right, because the only men left are the righteous men's, guys. And not men's. Oh my goodness. The only men left are righteous men, guys. Okay? This is your Job, your Daniel, your Noah. That's it. Then shall the lambs feed after their manner, and the waste places of the fat ones shall strangers eat. Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity. Vanity, guys. And sin as it were with a cart rope. That say, let him make speed and hasten his work, that we may see it. And let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw nigh and come, that we may know it. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. These are the men taking it. These are the men getting the sword right here, guys. They call evil good and darkness, and these ladies are crying for them. It's telling us right here who these men are. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle strong drink, which justify the wicked for reward, and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. Therefore, as the fire devoureth the stubble, and the flame consume the chaff, so their roots shall be as rottenness, and their blossom shall go up as dust, because they have cast away the law of the Lord of hosts, and despised the word of the Holy One of Israel. These women are crying over these men. The chaff, guys, if you do a research on chaff, chaff is synonymous with ash, guys, and dust. Ash is synonymous with dust. They are speaking of Adam and any of his progenitors. Anybody who's all for that patriarchy. The sons of the Father, what did it tell us here? What did it say? Where did we read that, guys? We may have read that in Isaiah, but y'all know what I'm talking about because I discussed it at length. Let's go on over to this last verse here because I think this is really important, guys. I need everybody to understand that it's not a lot of mystery in this book. You know, let's go to this verse and then we're going to discuss that. Isaiah 6, 8 to 13, guys, okay? Also I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then said I, here I am, send me. And he said, go, and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, make their ears heavy, shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed. That's when those leukocytes kick in, guys. Then said I, Lord, how long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without a man, and the land be utterly desolate, and the Lord have removed men far away, and there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. I told you guys this is going to be crazy. Them ladies with them keep on going, Shmar. But yet in it shall be a tenth. Here's the hope, guys. And it shall return. It shall be eaten as a teal tree and as an oak, whose substance, guys. Not these guys these ladies are crying over. These people that are, this tenth that's left has got substance in them. Okay? Whose substance is in them. And when they cast their leaves, so the holy seed shall be the substance thereof. This is why there's only a tenth left. Because the repopulation is not going to come from those ladies, those men that those ladies are crying over. So I hope to God you find yourself on the right side, guys. I hope we're reading Job, Daniel, and Noah. And you are not one of these people these ladies are crying over. Because I'm here to tell you, that description of those ladies, guys, when you go on Instagram, everybody looks alike. Kid you not. So the description of those ladies, man, and even I was in this pool at one time trying to keep up with the Joneses. Guys, I was living in Georgia at one time. So the pressure to be, there was what, like eight ladies to every man. So when you're dating, the pressure to make sure that you're keeping up and you keep your hair and nails done and all of this great stuff, it was very intense. It's very intense because you feel like you're trying to keep your significant other interested. So, you know, you feel the pressure to go and put these caterpillars on your face, okay? These lashes, guys. Or get this makeup done, and, you know, because, listen, there's just a lot of pressure, guys, and it's unnecessary. Job said, why would I look upon a maid Guys, y'all better get into Job. And trust me, don't be one of these men right here, because these men are gonna fall by the sword. Isaiah 3:25 told us right here, and it is because of because of their actions. But we see these ladies crying over them, and we have a description of these ladies, guys. And you know what that is? A description of these ladies is like 90% of Instagram, especially our ladies, guys. You know what I mean? So we know who they're crying over. You probably got family members that look like this. I do. I got family members that look like the description of what Isaiah is describing here. They're tinkering around on their feet. Well, those are high heels, guys. The balloon, the moon balloon. Oh, it's my break, guys. The moon balloon. Guys, all of this is a clear description of the ladies we see today, guys. These tires are inflated. I'm surprised tires is even in the Torah, because it would seem like tires should predate the Torah, so I'm going to have to dig on that, guys. See where my mind goes, guys? But that was a literal word in here. So we're going to have to dig on that a little bit more. Oh, the crescents. Yeah, in the Berean it says crescents. But guys, I think that and what number is that? Number 18. I think that the round tires like the moon may possibly be implants, guys. And it says these things are going to get taken away. So they're crying on the ground, and they're desolate. They're desolate here, number 26. And they're crying over those men that didn't make it to the tent. You know, if you're listening to me, I hope you don't look like one of these ladies, because it's describing right here, you're going to be lamenting. You're going to be mourning. Okay, guys? This is some of my family. This is some of yours. And we know the men that date these women. Much love, guys, and thanks for tuning in to the front line. Next week I'll be traveling, so I'm going to start working on pulling in some things into that Solomon discussion, and I got a ton of new things I want to work on, guys. So while I'm at it, I'm going to be reading up on Daniel and Job and Noah as well. So look for some new content to be coming your way. Thank you guys for sticking it out with me. Much love. And thanks for tuning in and pulling up a chair in the Shabbat, man, guys. You know, thank y'all for coming on down to the cabin. Much love, and I hope I didn't make this too long. I tried not to, so I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much. Take care, guys.